Oh, do you know the way to San Jose?
There are 25,000 Guinness taps all over Ireland. The quality team check every single one. We know the way to everywhere.
Martin, have you ever been to San Jose?
San Jose? Sure, that's the back and beyond.
No wonder the Guinness is great.
Hello, everybody out there.
Hello.
Welcome, folks. It's that alternate Tuesday, which means Misti Media is back. Welcome. I am Jay Hartman, editor-in-chief of Misti Media Publishing, coming to you from the Misti Media Studios here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Joining me, as always, is my partner in crime, author Linda K. Hardie from her undisclosed location in northern Nevada. Hello, Miss Linda.
Hello, Jay.
How you doing, my love?
Pretty good. Trying to keep cool, although I just have to think about you and go, okay, it's not so bad. You down there in Las Vegas?
Yeah, you know, I'm not ready for it. I'm not ready for summer to be shifting over.
It's not even spring yet, technically.
I'm guessing we're not getting a spring this year. I guess we're skipping straight over that and going right to summer, which is kind of a bummer. Who knows? It might cool off again, but we're looking at being 97 degrees here this coming weekend.
Yeah, we're quite a bit cooler, but still bad enough. 86, which I know I'll look back fondly on in a couple of months.
I was gonna say we're sitting here complaining. When it's 115 and 120, we might be feeling a little bit different.
Yeah. And I'm glad I no longer live where it gets that hot, because I lived in Fresno for 18 years and it was getting, well, not 120 back then. Probably now. I haven't checked recently.
At least I've got air conditioning. That's what I myself when I lived in the San Francisco area. You know, places out there don't have air conditioning because the weather is usually just so mild.
And up in Oregon when I lived there, yeah, it was like that too.
Look at that. Walt's here.
Hey, Walt.
Walt, our fearless leader, our editor at large of Nazca Press, who knows a thing or two about leprechauns and other fairy folk besides me. Nice to see you, Walt. Big hugs to you. Big hugs to Joy. It's awfully good of you to stop by. We love having you here. So yeah, it is St. Patrick's Day. Do you guys have a parade up at your undisclosed location, or do you or does it stay quiet up there?
You know, I don't think we have a parade up here. Yeah, I guess not, because I don't remember.
If you have to stop and think about it.
Yeah. And back when we had a daily newspaper, I mean, technically we still do, but I don't remember seeing anything about it. It's harder to find those sorts of things without newspapers. For me, I'm old.
Yeah, we were just talking about that on the morning show this morning about the libraries and schools and using microfiche and the card catalog and all those sort of things that have been lost to time that that used to be part of that library experience that we don't necessarily get to have anymore, which is a shame. Well, to me, it's a shame. I mean,
Nice.
everybody else has ease of use, but
Yeah, ease of use. Yeah, but the microfiche where you could see the newspapers and the photo of the real newspaper and all that, and I don't know.
Well,
Yeah,
and it seems so powerful in movies and television when somebody would be scrolling through the microfiche in a crime thriller to find the article about the murderer from 25 years ago, or in the horror film where the how many people have been killed in the house over the course of 30 years.
and it takes a while. It takes a while with the microfiche because you're going scroll,
right, and it was always that deliberate thing with they would hit the scan button so the microfiche would advance quickly like 3 times, and it was always on the 3rd time that it just magically landed on exactly the article they needed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I don't think it's so dramatic now when you click on the a click of the mouse and all you see is there's the information. It's not nearly as much fun as the microfiche.
Well, I remember when cell phones came out and wow. Oh, X-Files had a little senior moment there. Well, the X-Files was still running on TV, and I thought, how are they going to keep up these episodes, with cell phones where they can call and there's no, I'm trapped out here with a monster. And then, of course, Mulder always lost his phone. And then there's the old, hey, I have no signal. And they made it work. It wasn't all cliched. So
now it's just kind of ubiquitous. I mean, although I was thinking about it. I don't know that did we ever really see people rushing around trying to find a payphone like that? I guess they must have always found some other way of getting in touch, but I don't remember this desperate need to have a payphone in every single movie. So
no, I remembered a lot of that. Yeah. Like right when cell phones were, of course, I worked in radio, and we had a lot of advanced technology, like cell phones. Where the first cell phone,
the giant bricks with the antenna.
No, before that, it's like a large briefcase, about that fat, twice as large as most briefcases, but about the size of a briefcase. And you would open it up and you'd put up an antenna, screw in an antenna, and do this and that. Then you would pick up like a old-fashioned handset, and then you could dial the number and you'd talk to the radio operator. Wow. Anyway, I mean, but those were the earliest ones there, and then the big bricks. Yeah, but so I was looking for it. And there's one of the old Christopher Reeve Superman movies, probably the first one, where he's running to change into Superman in a phone booth, and he sees AT&T up ahead, or maybe it was Pac-Bell. Anyway, he sees phone up ahead, and he goes running because it's a tight shot. And as we get nearer, we see it's one of those phone kiosks. There's no
give me 1 second here, Walt. If we are frozen up, it is actually your system. I just looked at us on YouTube, and we are definitely streaming fine. So you might want to go out and come back in or reboot. But looks like our stream is good.
Or just stand up and okay, hold onto the screen and hold your hand out and touch a pipe and.
So it is St. Patrick's Day, Miss Linda. It is a holiday. It's our first show actually on a holiday.
Yeah.
I figure people are going to be catching us on the replay today because they're probably out at the pubs getting themselves a pint of Guinness, and may not be with us live tonight, but maybe checking us out later. And
some may have the World Baseball Classic final game on, and I won't say who, but anyway, because the USA and Venezuela are going to go at it hammer and tong tonight, starting like any second now.
Hello, Ray Tabler. That's our author, Ray.
Hi,
Well,
Ray.
we're both moving on your screen. I hope you can also hear us too. That's important.
Maybe
So,
he's listening to the baseball game and watching us.
There you go. So I thought we would do something a little different for today's show because, originally our YouTube channel had started as a sort of information and education channel, and anything else from Misti Media was kind of completely separate. Because the idea was that I wanted to be able to, bring people up to speed on stuff about publishing and the publishing industry they may not know. And we, I made a decision at one point finally that nope, we would just focus on Misti Media stuff. But in light of the holiday, it got me thinking about distribution and the importance of having your books available worldwide, and what that looks like. So I thought maybe we would do a show where I would, as always, split things up where I kind of talk about the books and business side of Ireland, and you are covering the authors and some of the folks that we should be looking at.
Mm-hmm.
To anybody that is tuning into us today, most of the places and things we're going to be talking about, you're going to find in the comments field. Down below in the description for this video. You're going to find a ton of links down there that I hope you'll go ahead and do fall down the rabbit hole and click through to those folks. A reminder, we are not a monetized channel. None of the links down below are affiliate links of any kind. We don't earn any money from you clicking through and discovering these places and these people. We only make money when you buy our books, which we hope you'll do by using the links that are available to you down below. There's links to our main site and Walt's Nazca Press site, and all soon to be under one roof. Looking forward to that. So please do support our authors and support the show the best you can by giving us a thumbs up, commenting in the comments, sharing our video with the public, making sure you're subscribed to the channel. Over to the right in the chat window, make sure you click on the little hearts when you like something, or the confetti. All of those things help to bring awareness to our channel. Help us get more people to follow us on our road to 1,000 subscribers. That's our current goal. We're at something like 276 or 296. So I think we already have more subscribers than we did back when I was with the publisher that shall remain unnamed. So awesome. We love having all of you here. So, one of the things we do at Misti Media is we make sure that we distribute our titles through distribution that gets us all over the world. So we want to be wherever our readers are. We don't want to tell people how they can read our books. We don't want to say you can only read in this format or you can only buy from this vendor. I personally hate Amazon with a passion. A burning white hot passion of 10,000 suns, because of how badly they treat publishers and treat authors, and now how badly they treat readers by only giving you a license to read your book when you buy it instead of letting you actually own the book.
You don't actually buy the book. You're just licensing it for as long as they want you to have it.
So I would, I would do caution. I would not be buying your books from your ebooks from Amazon if you're looking to want to hold on to them, because at some point, Uncle Amazon can go ahead and pull those right back out of your account anytime they want to.
And I've had that happen. At least 3 books disappeared overnight back when I used the Kindle a lot.
And what a lot of people don't know is that Amazon charges the publisher to deliver that ebook to the reader. So not only are they taking a cut of our profits, but they're also charging us to deliver an electronic file, which is bits and bobs, and charging us to send those off to the end reader. So one of the reasons why we, that's just one of the main reasons why we don't push Amazon as one of our retailers, even though they're there. But it's also important to think on a global scale if you're going to be a publisher. So it's not about being, reaching just the U.S. Or just North America. If you're going to do right by your authors, you got to have the distribution that's available anywhere in the world and getting their books on every continent. And what was interesting when I started doing research for the show today, I was really surprised at how little crossover there is between what the American bestseller lists look like and what the Irish bestseller lists look like. And it really goes to,
you naive child.
well, I mean, but I think it's because you get sort of a sense of nationalism in it that you sort of, I mean, I imagine it feels the same way from an Irish person, a person in Ireland looking at the bestseller list in the United States. So, like, well, how come our authors are not, dominating the, this is the hottest book everybody in Dublin is talking about. Why isn't it the number one book in the US as well?
No, I think most of the rest of the world has come to the conclusion, like some decades ago, that that's just those nationalistic, think only of ourselves Americans, USAers. Because I don't think it's a surprise. I don't think it's much of a surprise to them that we're so focused on our own belly buttons.
But by the same token,
especially now.
But by the same token, if I look at the Irish bestseller list for the last 2 weeks, it's the same thing as here. You're not seeing any other bestsellers really from any other countries except Ireland. And I'm curious, I feel like I need to take it a step further and go and look at bestseller lists from Italy or bestseller lists from Germany or Australia and see what their top books are. And see it. Oh, Joy is here also. Yay! Hello, Joy. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad to have her here. So I mean, it was just a little bit of a surprise to just see how different it was, because it adds to my feeling always that people are not really exposed to world literature. When I got my degree in lit, I specialized in world lit, and the idea of being exposed to books from all over the world. And although there are certainly authors, that cross over, you're gonna, your John Grisham will always be on everybody's bestseller list. Stephen King will always be on everybody's bestseller list.
Nora Roberts,
right? But then if I say Brian McGilloway, a lot of people are gonna be like, who? And Brian McGilloway is quite possibly one of the most popular crime authors going right now, particularly in Ireland. And he's a prolific author, but it's the same thing that if you're not exposed to those authors, then you don't know about them. So it was just really eye-opening to look at several weeks of bestseller lists. And I do have some links down below in the show notes to some of those bestseller lists, so that people can kind of take a look for themselves and see, what's popular out there in other places. And it's a really good way to expand your own reading circle, because hey, if you like police procedurals and you haven't heard of Brian McGilloway, or you only know, you only read British crime dramas, and you're only familiar with those kind of shows, then you're gonna be missing out. So I mean, Linda, tell us about some of the other great authors that have come out of Ireland.
There are so many. I was looking over them, and the classics. You got the James Joyce that I never did try reading. Well, I tried reading him. It was like very very thick going through. But
was he required reading when you were in school?
No, no, never was required to read Joyce. Yeah, my required well, back in undergrad days, my required reading was all the old dead white European men,
Yeah.
Western civilization men. In graduate school, it had expanded a lot, but yeah, no, I lucked out on the Joyce because I tried, just couldn't. But a lot of the Irish authors I was finding were ones that surprised me. I didn't know Bram Stoker was Irish.
I did,
Dracula.
I did not know this either.
Yeah.
I had no clue.
C.S. Lewis. C.S. Lewis was born
See,
in
I feel like
Ireland.
I feel like I should have known that because of all his Catholic symbolism, and all
Yeah.
his religious symbolism in his writing. I guess I should have guessed that,
Oh, yeah.
and I didn't.
Yeah. Church of England versus the Catholics. Yeah. Yeah. Now that you mention it that way, it's like, wow, yeah, we should have seen that. Let's see, who else did I have on there? Oh, Oscar Wilde.
Of course.
And I need to look at his full name
The Importance of Being Earnest.
and the picture of Dorian Gray. Oh, that was so good. Okay, his full name is Oscar Fingal O'Flaherty Wills Wilde.
Fit that on a business card.
Yeah, really.
Hello, Terry.
And then-
Thank you for coming in.
And then we got Jonathan Swift,
Oh,
satirist mostly. Yeah. Satirist, science fiction writer, whatever you want to call it.
that's let's see, that's Gulliver's Travels, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Swift's also Modest Proposal.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That is
because that's the one about roasting the.
Yes, solve overpopulation and
hunger
lack of
issues at the
food
same
by
time.
boiling and eating your children. Yes, that.
Not your own children, but those people's.
I wish I could remember the full name of that title. It's a treatise on. I can't. I remember I remember studying that in college. I remember reading that in a college course.
Yeah, it's very long, and I think I can.
Oh yeah, it's a ridiculously long title, which is almost longer than the treatise is.
A modest proposal for preventing. All right. I used to be a professional announcer. A modest proposal for preventing the children of poor people from being a burden to their parents or country, and for making them beneficial to the public.
I miss the days when you could get away with satire titles like that. That was just awesome.
And it was written by Dr. Swift. There's a photo here of the first printing of, or a London printing of it.
That's hilarious. Who else in your list, my dear?
George Bernard Shaw.
Playwright.
Pygmalion Man, Superman. And Roddy Doyle.
Roddy Doyle did what is it? Something ha ha ha. The heck is the name of that book? It won the Booker Prize.
Patty Clark, ha ha ha.
Yeah, that book is hilarious. I remember it did win I believe it won the Irish Booker Prize. And that was one of my, I think I actually read that in either high school or early college. And I remember that being one of my first tastes of international literature. Like because I hadn't yet read some of the folks like, that for like the guy that wrote The Commitments or, some of that stuff. It was like, I hadn't got, actually, I think that's also right.
I was just going to tell you that, yes, that is him too. That's part of the same pentology. The Commitments, The Snapper, The Van, Patty Clark, ha ha ha, and The Guts.
Patty Clark, ha 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 was definitely a game changer for me. But then again, The Commitments is, I mean, a lot of people saw the film adaptation of it, but the Commitments is such a great book. Such.
Well,
a great,
didn't the film win like lots of awards?
Yep. Mostly
Yeah.
international awards, but yeah.
Yeah.
It, it's the old thing. Oh, I saw the movie. I didn't read the book.
For me, mostly it's yeah, great book.
I know
Didn't want to
we
disappoint
hate,
myself by watching the movie.
I know we hate to mention her in light of recent years, but we do have to acknowledge that J.K. Rowling is also Irish born. So I mean, we can't deny that the Harry Potter series is one of the most popular books to ever come along and completely changed the face of middle reader and young adult reading fantasy, and got more kids back into reading than pretty much any other series. I mean, if you don't focus on the author herself and you just focus on the content, that could be argued that it may be some of the most inspirational, changing, life-changing literature that has come out of there.
Okay, I keep hoping that you're not going to say anything about quality, because I personally didn't care for the quality. All the stuff that the critics, the American critics, were saying, no, and novel and wonderful, and who would have thought, like the names that she gave characters and a lot of the situations. I'm going, well, let's see. I can go all the way back to Roald Dahl.
Yeah.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, James and the Giant Peach. He did all this. Of course, he was not a very nice person in person, but
not
he
at all.
Didn't rub people's noses in it.
Not in the slightest.
Susan Cooper, another one. I think she's Welsh, though. Anyway, a lot of others that did it first and better, in my opinion. But anyway, but yes, I will give her that she did get a ton of kids reading, and yay for them, for the kids.
I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. I've not read any of the Harry Potter. It just doesn't appeal to me. I haven't even seen the films. But I was working in a bookstore during the releases of most of the books in the series, and I saw what a change it made for in kids reading and the interest. But then also ultimately the huge ripoffs that would come afterwards, like everybody trying to jump on the Harry Potter train and come out with their own. If you like Harry Potter, you'll like blah, blah, blah series. And, that wasn't always the case. But it's funny, if you look in, there's a couple Irish publishers of pretty good renown. One of those being, let's see, who was it? I think it's the Lilliput Press, who I have a link to down in the show notes. They've got a bunch of kids' fantasy series. And you look at them and you're like, wow, I see the influence of Harry Potter, but there was a time where you really couldn't get kids to read fantasy or really read at all. And the fact that there are so many series out there now that kids pick up on because of things that came along like Harry Potter.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one that blows my mind is, you were telling me before the show, I don't know how I never knew it, that Anne McCaffrey was Irish.
Yeah. She did live in the United States and did, I think, all of her writing here. And I don't remember how many books she ended up writing.
Walt, actually, that would be a great question for Nazca Press editor at large, Walt.
Yeah.
If you're still in the chat, Walt, if you happen to know how many, this is the kind of thing Walt and Joy, we keep referring to Joy, folks, by the way. Joy Ward is Walt's wife. She also is an editor at large at Nazca Press. She's been out of the limelight for a little while for health reasons, and Walt's been kind of carrying it over there. But we're very happy to say Joy is doing better and more involved again. And so the two of them are a huge dynamic force in science fiction, fantasy, and their knowledge is just redonkulous. It really is. I don't know of anybody that knows more than they do about those genres. But Walt, if you happen to still be around and happen to have an idea of how many books Anne McCaffrey has done, I'd love to know the total, because I know she's easily one of the most prolific and one of the most awarded fantasy authors of all time. Have you read her stuff, Linda?
Haha, have I read her stuff? I've been reading it since I was. Wait a minute. I was just trying to see if I could figure out how many books she'd written, and then I got lost and couldn't find my way back.
Down the rabbit hole she went.
Yeah, I've read so much, and yet I've still barely scratched the surface. She had the Dragon Riders of Pern, which, when you start the series, you think it's fantasy, but when you get deeper into the series, it's science fiction. Yeah. Wow. And science fiction like science. But she had the Ship Who Sang. I think the series was The Ship and the Brawn, and the Acorn series, and so many. I just was scrolling on a bibliography of hers on Wikipedia, and it was click through, and there's 13 pages, and it looks like there's probably minimum of a dozen books listed per page. So that would be at least maybe 120, 150, maybe more books that they've got listed. Children's books, cookbooks, the science fiction. She's got some fantasy, a little bit of fantasy, romance. She wrote like a dozen romance novels,
short stories. My goodness,
short stories. Yep. Put together 2 anthologies that I've heard of.
You mentioned Susan Cooper earlier. I remember how, God knows I won't be able to remember the name of it, but I vividly remember a book that I read by her about kids that go to a house by the sea for a vacation, and something about
go ahead, yeah,
and something about them finding a map or a treasure or something like that in the house, or exploring the island to find it, and people that are trying to stop them. But I remember that as a kid, and I was reading her. I think I first read that, and I read ahead of my grade. So it was intended, I think, for middle school, young adult, and I was reading in elementary school. But but I remember that was a very, very, I remember thinking at the time, this doesn't feel like anything I've read before. And I reread it years later and was like, oh, that's because it clearly doesn't, take place anywhere that I've ever been. This is clearly like a Irish setting.
Well, the sequence, the series that she's best known for, and they tried to make a movie and butchered it. And so poof, they didn't make the rest of them. But anyway, what she's best known for is a series of kids' books, middle grade books, it's known as the Dark is Rising sequence.
Oh, yeah.
And this one, they have their great Uncle Mary, short for Merryweather or something, but they call him Gummery. Great.
Yes.
Uncle.
So this is the series. This is the series I'm thinking of. Okay.
I can go grab them off the shelf right there. I know exactly where they are.
Okay, that is the series I'm thinking of. Okay.
And this is one of the ones that a certain other author we mentioned stole from. Was influenced by. Excuse me. But yeah. Let me see. I had
that's right.
Yeah, those are over. The first one's Oversea Under Stone, and that's the one.
That's it.
Yep.
Oversea Under Stone. That is the one, and that is absolutely the one. I can even picture in my head. There's a scene where they're exploring a stone wall out in the countryside, and they find a chalice inside it. But I remember that book so vividly, and it's funny that you talk about people talk about those books that people still talk about decades later after it's been published, like and where America's got their people like Stephen King, like John Grisham, or classic older authors as well. I mean, it's wonderful that that the Irish have theirs also. That like somebody like Susan Cooper, that here I was reading in the 70s, and still such a great series now. Like, I mean, it's still out there. It's still there for people to enjoy. And I mean, that's a series for kids that I really wish more people would discover and hand over, to their kids for recommendations.
And it's got a lot of the.
I remember being a little bit of a tough slog because of some of the language, which I imagine if you grew up there, it would all seem very natural to you.
Great Britain.
But as an American, I'm struggling with that a little.
I lived in England from what was it, 7 to 10 years old or something, that age. Didn't discover her then, but all sorts of great stuff. And when I discovered her, it was like going home. I understand this language. And lost my train of thought. Oh, anyway, in those books, the first one is different from the others because it's kind of from the point of view of the three the three siblings, the three kids, and then there's their cousin, and then great Uncle Mary, and towards the end they're thinking, well, whose uncle is great Uncle Mary? Is he mom's? Is he dad's? And they can never figure it out. But the other kid will. He's the one that's the hero, the chosen one for him to succeed King Arthur. And then there's a lot of Welsh stuff in the 4 other books in it. Get me on one of my hobby horses here.
Walt says, do not forget one of your fathers of modern fantasy literature, Lord, is it Dunsany?
Dunsany.
I regret I am not familiar with this person. That is bad. It means I need to add them to my list to go and do some research and some reading. I make it a point every year that I need to read a certain number of classics, so that not everything is modern. That I'm going back and discovering some of the literature from the past, so that I try to catch up on some of that.
I didn't know this. Jorge Luis Borges was influenced by Dunsany. Oh, yeah. And then also Guillermo del Toro, the Mexican filmmaker. Tolkien, J.R.R. Clark Ashton Smith, Robert E. Howard, H.P. Lovecraft. And then a discredited horror writer that I don't even want to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
And Arthur C. Clarke, Cyril Kornbluth, Manly Wade Wellman, Jack Vance, Michael Moorcock, Peter Beagle, David Eddings, Ursula K. Le Guin. That's so good.
Well, and we need to clarify, these people are not all Irish. These are all just people that were influenced by.
They were influenced by him.
Yeah.
Let's see, where's his writings? So he's got the Gods of Pagania, the Book of Wonder.
Well, so shifting genres just a little bit. I know we have a lot of crime readers, and a lot of people are really into mystery and police procedurals and stuff. There are a few Irish authors that have crossed over into the American markets pretty well. John Connolly, I think, is probably the most well-known Irish crime author. But and he actually sets his stuff in Maine, but it's very sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between Maine and Ireland when you're reading. The settings are in many ways very, very similar. Declan Burke is another really good author, crime author from Ireland. Sinead Crowley would be another. Tana French. The one that I discovered a few years ago that I really, really, really liked is Brian McGilloway. I think I've mentioned him a couple times already, but police procedural for Northern Ireland crime fiction. And as a result, he really gets into a lot of the modern. He doesn't stray away from modern problems like homophobia or the current issues in the world. It's not just all things that are specific to Ireland. He tends to write on a global theme basis. So if you check the show notes down below, we've got 3 links there that I think are really helpful. One is the Irish Booker Prize winners. This is one of the highest awards you can get for writing. And Irish authors are constantly in the Booker long list awards, the short list awards. But if I remember correctly from the article, I believe they've only won a total of 7 times. But the nominations that they've racked up are just crazy. I've also included a link there for the bestsellers for Ireland of the week. And that's from Books Ireland magazine, which is sort of the leading book rag over there to be able to keep up on what's going on in the world of books for Ireland. And also a great article, a little editorial list that was put out about the top Irish contemporary authors that everybody should know. And it's a great little reading list. If you find books that you like in these lists, most of them are going to be available through your local bookstore. If they're not on the shelf, most of them are going to be available through the world's biggest book distributor, which is Ingram. And we're happy to say we're distributed worldwide by Ingram as well. But you can also visit any of the bookstore websites that we have listed in the show notes below, and they will ship to the U.S. We've got the nasty little tariff thing going on of where you used to be able to get books brought in for, that flew under the import tax thing, and that has changed. But you'll find that most of these places are very reasonable in what they're for national shipping.
And the tax, the tariff thing, it depends, because I get my prescriptions from overseas because of blah blah, cheaper. And anyway, but mine went up like 5% or 3% to pay for the tariff. It wasn't as big of a problem as I thought from the numbers, because these smaller shippings of things don't get the big number tariffs. They get smaller tariffs. So books should slide under without too much of a tariff on top of them.
Walt says, I don't think Anne McCaffrey was born Irish, but she used the special tax laws for authors and artists to move to Dragonhold in County Wicklow. We were talking about this right before the show, Walt, that there was like so much conflicting information. But I believe Linda did finally find a source that said she was born Irish. A believable source, more than just, Wikipedia. I think she had said she had found somewhere, but yeah, we were just discussing that same thing right before the show, because I hadn't heard that, but it wouldn't have surprised me any either. So again, if you're looking at the show notes below, Eason, I believe it's pronounced Eason's, is the largest bookseller in Ireland, and that's not saying a whole lot. They have locations throughout the country, but it's not as many as you would normally expect. It's basically kind of the Barnes and Noble, but it's very Irish centric. There's a lot of focus on Irish authors and Irish products as well. They carry plenty of Irish stationery and other small companies. So I'd definitely recommend checking out their website for bestseller lists and top 10s to see who's hot, who's not at any given moment. There's also a link there to the Gutter Bookshop and Paper Clips. Both of those are LGBTQIA bookstores. One is in, I believe, one is in Dublin, and based out of Dublin, and one is based out of Belfast. I think Paperclips is the Belfast. And oh, by the way, Walt, I think you might be lagging a little. You might want to refresh your feed.
And speaking of Walt, I did a quick double check, and found that my first source was fudging things a little. And she was born in Massachusetts, but she did emigrate to Ireland because of divorce laws back in the day, and took her kids with her and lived there. And then the tax thing that he mentioned about authors, that was part of her reason too. But yeah, so yeah, I had wrong information at first. She's not born Irish, but Irish descent, living in Ireland because of divorce laws. Go figure.
Two more links.
Because 1970 was before women could even have their own bank accounts or credit cards without a male co-signer.
Two more links there for the bookstores you should know. Book Upstairs, which is a legendary bookstore in Dublin. Been there since God was a boy. That's a great little independent. And then I also did include a link from an article that was done in July of 2025 of 10 of the best independent bookstores in Ireland. And just a reminder that if you do shop through bookshop.org to buy your print books, you can choose to support these independent bookstores. Most of them you can either buy from their website, or if you order through bookshop.org, you can actually order in a way that benefits them when you make those purchases. Some of that, the money actually goes to the store, and you're helping to support an independent bookstore. In terms of independent presses, you'll see that there's a section in the notes for Irish book publications and publishers. I think a couple of my favorites in there have to be Fairy Press, which is doing something that I haven't seen anywhere else in the world, which is Fairy Press is an LGBTQIA plus publisher for children. So their entire focus is children's books for the rainbow community. And I've always seen, those publishers that are covering stuff, for adults with children's books as kind of an afterthought. And to see one that's focused completely on making excellent literature available for kids of all ages really, really blew my mind. There's been some amazing write-ups on that publishing house, and they do a lot, they deserve a lot of love. There's another indie children's press that focuses on strictly kids books called Little Island Books. They're another one that, again, small press, but really looks like the quality of the stuff that they're putting out is terrific. Temple Dark Books is a specialty publisher focused on science fiction, fantasy, and horror. Basically, they are we'll call them the Nazca Press of Ireland. I have this vision of us teaming up somehow and doing a joint publication of the two publishing houses, because they're looking at their catalog and their authors. They are so aligned with the same thing that we do, that I was like, again, to people that don't understand, in the indie in the indie publishing world, it's not competition. There's no competition at all. We all have our own tastes of what we like to publish, what we're attracted to. There isn't fighting over manuscripts. A lot of us share authors. So an author will publish across multiple independent presses, and everybody's fine with that. Nobody has a problem with that at all, because what may work for one publisher doesn't necessarily work for another. So most indie presses I know are in the business of trying to lift up other indie presses, and we all want each other to survive and thrive, and have our authors read, especially in a world that is only focused on these giant big publishing conglomerates where they're more interested in, granted, we need money to keep the doors open, but they're more interested in the money than they are the creativity or the art that's being made.
Well, and also the big, the big, what is it, 4, 3? I don't know. Anyway, the big publishers in New York they're more focused on, they appear to be more focused on who's got enough publicity. Books from influencers and books written by famous actors and movie stars and things like that, rather than, is it good?
Right.
Is this good writing? And the small presses look for it. Hey, you got a good story? You got a good story? Then come see me. That sort of thing. And
it's
and that way, because your taste is different from another editor-in-chief's taste, and you may see something go, oh yeah, it's good, but doesn't turn me on. But I know that my compatriot over at this press likes that sort of thing. Try him.
Yeah,
And that cooperation is something you don't see up there.
And there is a lot of that. I mean, there's a lot of that. Hey, it doesn't work for me, but I know so and so at such and such publisher, and yeah, I think you'd be a good fit over there. And hey, I'll even tie my name to it if you want to send them a intro letter, and I'll send them a letter too, and give an introduction. It's really one of the things I love about being in publishing is just that. Am I ever going to get rich doing it? No. Are my authors necessarily going to get rich? Not necessarily. We don't get the same kind of shelf space and the same kind of publicity and visibility that the big presses that have $1 million campaign budgets can do. But you know what? We're going to publish quality work, and we're going to get it out there, and we're going to do everything we can to get as many people to read it around the world as we possibly can. And we're going to be passionate about it, and that's kind of the best we can offer. And fortunately for us, there are authors that understand that we can't necessarily move at the same speed as a big publisher. Or
I just have to say what everybody's thinking. Is Harpo Marx hiding under your desk? I keep hearing, honka honka honka. I know I'm old.
Zeke, our marketing director, is currently keeping himself busy with a chew toy, which I'm very grateful for, because normally he's trying to get my attention because he hates it when I have a conversation with anybody that doesn't involve him. So again, if you folks will take a look at the show notes, there's a great section there just based on it's all Irish book publications and publishers. The first two links under there, Book Ireland and the Irish Times book section. The Irish Times book section is the Irish equivalent of the New York Times book review. So they cover everything having to do with what's happening in Irish literature and in the Irish publishing world. Great resource to find new stuff, read reviews, find books that you would not have necessarily found otherwise. And then Book Ireland is, I don't know how to explain it exactly, but they're probably an even bigger version of, if the Irish Times book section is, a section, then Book Ireland is the entire enchilada. Everything on their website is all about the publishing industry in Ireland and what's happening with publishers and press.
Probably like the Publishers Weekly that we have.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely. It would be like Publishers Weekly here in the U.S. So, I mean, if you have that interest and you're looking to explore into other writings from another country, which I really, if you can't afford to travel to Dublin, you should at least read about it and see see what other folks are reading. Broadens your mind, broadens the horizons. So, Linda, as we're coming into the final few minutes there, God, that hour goes by fast. We got
good stuff to talk about,
Yeah, it's better than us just sitting here and going, so what do you want to talk about? I don't know. What do you want to talk about? I don't know. What do you have going on? What's coming up for you?
Well, let's see. I've been doing some mentorship programs through the SCBWI, Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. Speaking of international things, that's a group that I think it got started in Southern California, but it's literally an international group now, people around the world. and our Nevada chapter does mentorships, and I've been working on that. And I got this great writer. He's so good. I mean, his ideas are good. His writing needs work, and that's what we're working on. So I had a meeting with him that went really great. Got some stuff I'm writing that you may know about. And I when we're talking about all these international mysteries and thrillers and stuff, I write the occasional book review for a small online publication, and a lot of the books are all published in the U.S. because it's in the U.S. and we're trying to
Actually,
reach readers in the U.S.
If you're talking about Kings River,
Yep.
I would absolutely love to plug them. You're absolutely perfectly fine. Kings River
Okay.
Life
Yep.
magazine. Yeah, if you want to tell people a little bit about Kings River Life.
Yeah. It's a magazine, and it's got two parts. There's the Central California local stuff, because they talk about animal rescue and things like, and local
Which is
news
where
with-
Kings River, which is where Kings River is. Yeah.
Kings River. I got to go whitewater rafting on the Kings River. Long. Yeah. Almost drowned. Anyway, long story. But I write, and then they've got the review side of it, where it's mysteries and thrillers, and I have read so many good books for that. And some of them, a lot of them have been from around the world, but they are published here. And like I read one that was in New Zealand, and I've got one, a Japanese one, on my stack of to be reads that Lori usually reviews this particular author herself, but she's trying to get more of her writing done. Speaking of which, Lori Lewis Ham, get her books.
Great
She writes
work.
books about.
She's a terrific author, in addition to being the editor-in-chief over at Kings River Life. And I gotta say,
And she did something that's nearly impossible. She got me to miss Fresno, because she writes about the Tower District, which is the arts district. And when I lived there, and I moved away 28 years ago, it was just a burgeoning little arts district. Like, oh, so much potential, and it's exciting that it's achieving that. Anyway, back to Lori.
And for people that don't know, I mean, Kings River Life has been so influential in the mystery world. You wouldn't think that this little random website about what's going on in this very small town in California would have that kind of reach, but everybody that is involved in everybody that's involved in the world of mystery and crime know about Kings River, and they are tremendously positive about promoting authors, and they've been a good friend of Misti Media and Indie Press. I should add that our Misti Media lady Sandra Murphy has also been involved with stuff with Kings River.
She's the one that recruited me.
By all means, we do highly recommend that folks go out to Kings River Life online and check them out and read their site. Please support them. Is there another great little independent thing going on there? Lori does most of it, handles it all mostly herself. It's a big task, but they're a huge resource for the publishing community, particularly for mystery.
And they give away a lot of books. You know, you read the review, and
lots of giveaways.
They give away a lot, tons of ebooks, and some paperbacks too, once in a while. But yeah, they give away a ton of books, and it's like, so I just read that. It sounds wonderful. Send me one. And they'll do a drawing for them.
So we have our special announcement is that due to there being an extra Tuesday for us this month, I asked Linda if instead of 2 shows in March, did she want to do 3? And she was all for it. So although tonight should have been our second and last show of the month, we are going to do a special 3rd episode for March. And we're still working out the details on that one, but for
maybe it could be like an April Fool's Eve.
Well, I'm finishing up after the first show of April. We'll be moving an hour earlier. This is to accommodate a very special guest that we're going to have from Czechoslovakia, who is going to be live with us. He's fortunately for us, he's up late, and we really wanted to do the show live with him, and we weren't sure we were going to be able to because of the time difference. And many thanks to Jan Katush, who that's the author who will be talking to him about his life as a Czech writer, and crossing into English language, and we're really thankful to him that he was willing to make that accommodation for the schedule to be with us. So look for that. I guess that means we'll be doing shows 2 weeks in a row, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
We'll have the last one of March, and then it'll be followed by the first one for April. So
Yeah.
everybody gets a little extra of us. You lucky people.
A treat.
You lucky
What a
people.
treat. It's our bonus episode.
Just a reminder that I am currently the guest co-host on the morning show with Johnny and Mark. You can see that every Monday through Wednesday from I always have to think Pacific time, so it's 5:30 a.m. Pacific, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, over on Johnny's channel. So I am filling in over there. The end of this month, March 28th, I will be on Johnny's Reseller Train Shop Hop. For those of you that think that sounds familiar, that's where I introduced you all to the lovely Linda K. Hardie. That's where we had our first interview with her. Teresa, I had to email her for pronunciation of her last name, and I haven't seen the email yet, so I'm going to botch this very badly, I'm sure. But Teresa Inge, I think is how it's pronounced. It could be Ing. I've never heard the name said out loud, so I can't be positive. But Teresa, who is an astounding editor and author, she did an anthology for me called First Comes Love, Then Comes Murder. And then we'll be doing another anthology from her this year that takes place in Virginia. Her and her authors are just some of the most amazing publicizers and marketers that they never, ever stop marketing their books. And it doesn't matter if it's a new book or it's a backlist, they are just constantly on it. So we're going to talk to Teresa a bit on the Shop Hop about how she does that. And maybe she can have some good tips because there is a reseller Shop Hop, but folks looking to buy typically auction stuff, but we're a little bit different in that community. But a lot of what Teresa has to say about promotion and marketing applies to anybody, and no matter what field you're in. If you're selling, you're selling, and Teresa will have some really good advice for folks. We have signed on to be part of the reseller Shop Hop every single month for the rest of the year, so we will be moving author interviews to the Shop Hop. It's the best way for us to get the biggest audience for these authors. And Linda and I will be focusing on other book-related and publishing topics, as well as what's going on with...
Focused on the educational part of
exactly
what you wanted Misti Media to do. Educating about books and writing and the education of reading and all that sort of
absolutely. I mean,
important stuff.
We may still occasionally have the occasional special guest. I am sure Walt will be on the show with us from time to time. We'll get Sandy in here from time to time, and certainly get other authors in to talk to all of y'all. I'd like to also get some of our cover designers and other editorial folks, particularly John Connor out of the UK, who is the lifeblood of Misti Media in many ways. I would really like to bring him for you guys to all meet. He's a character. So depending on how obviously, like with Jan, it made sense to bring him in here where we could accommodate his schedule better here than we could on the train sale. So that's why we'll have Jan in here. And I'm working on, hopefully we can do the same thing with mystery author Marilyn Todd, who lives in France. We'll figure out a way to get her in, and that'll probably be on this show rather than on the monthly train hops. But we have so much in production right now. It's not even funny how many books we have in production right now. This is going to be a huge spring and summer for Misti Media. We've got at least 20 titles coming up in the next few months, at least 20, if not more. So hang in there and stick with us. We'll be having giveaways here during the show. A reminder, we actually have an official email address now for the show. If you have suggestions or you have things you'd like to see, topics you'd like to see covered, authors you'd like to see covered, presses you'd like us to talk to, or people you'd like us to talk to, send your suggestions to MML, that's Misti Media Live, MML@mistimedia.com. And we'll look at your suggestions. Anything we use on air or anything we use for the show, you get free books from our catalog. Free ebooks. So by all means, send us an email, comment on, comment down below in the show notes. And that's kind of the view from the Misti, which is my new thing, the view from the Misti.
Okay.
I forgot that we actually had called the blog that, because the idea of the view from the top of the volcano, the Misti volcano, and so that's kind of what's going on from us. We thank you all very much for being here and being part of the show. Linda, I love you. Thank you, as always, for being so good and being a part of this. Walt and Joy, thank you for stopping by, sharing your info. Terry, very much appreciate you being here and watching the show with us. And be on the lookout. We'll be back in 2 weeks with even more groovy stuff to share with all of you. A reminder, we are not monetized. Please help support us and our authors by buying any of the books, buying your books through our bookstores directly in the links below, liking, commenting, and sharing this video with anybody and everybody, even if you don't like them. And and we will see you all in a couple weeks with another Misti Media Live. Take care, everyone.